Have you ever found yourself just completely silent in a conversation, even though you actually knew the exact answer?
Oh, yeah. That is such a common feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
Picture the scene. You're sitting in a meeting, or maybe you're at a coffee shop traveling abroad and someone asks a question. The perfect response is right on the tip of your tongue, queued up in your brain, but you
That's
just,
freeze.
exactly, you freeze. The moment passes and you say absolutely nothing. If you're nodding along right now, I need you to know you are definitely not alone.
Millions of people around the world deal with this. They can read English perfectly, write these incredibly nuanced emails, and even watch complex Hollywood movies without a single subtitle.
Yeah, but the second they have to actually open their mouths and speak to a human being, all of that vocabulary just vanishes into thin air.
It really is a universally frustrating phenomenon. What you're describing is that terrifying gap between passive comprehension and active execution. And, well, for a lot of learners, it just feels like an impassable wall.
And that wall is exactly what we are dismantling in today's deep dive. We are pulling from a really fascinating source called The 10 Foundations of Confident English Speaking.
Which is it's a great practical guide.
It really is. The mission for us today is to break down the actual mechanics of building speaking confidence. We're going to extract the most actionable nuggets from this text to help you stop feeling so overwhelmed and, most importantly, start speaking. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Well, the most logical place to start is with the root cause of that freezing sensation. Before we can even begin to talk about how your mouth moves, we have to address how your brain is approaching the task of language itself.
Right, the mental side of things.
Yeah, and the text identifies the primary culprit here as the grammar trap.
Ah, the grammar trap. So this is that widely held assumption that you need to master grammatical rules before you have the right to participate in a conversation.
Exactly. People think they need to know the past perfect continuous tense backward and forward before, just ordering a cup of coffee.
Right. Wait, let me rephrase that. People assume perfection is the prerequisite for participation.
Yes, that's exactly it. But the source flips that completely upside down. It argues that confidence actually has to come first, and the grammar improves later as a byproduct of speaking.
Which feels entirely backwards to how most of us were taught in school.
It does, but what's fascinating here is if we look at the child learning model, think about how a toddler acquires their native language.
Well, they definitely don't read grammar books.
Exactly. They don't sit in a crib analyzing syntax or reviewing flashcards of irregular verbs. They just listen, they absorb the environment, they imitate sounds, and they make a frankly ridiculous amount of mistakes.
And they just keep speaking every single day.
Right, because confidence comes first and grammar improves later. The first foundation really is changing your mindset from my English is bad to my English is improving every day.
I love that. Trying to learn a language by studying grammar rules before speaking is, well, it's kind of like trying to learn how to ride a bicycle by reading a physics textbook about gravity and balance.
Oh, that is a perfect analogy.
Right. Like you're never going to get it until you just get on the bike and accept that you're going to wobble and fall off a few times.
Yes, because mistakes aren't failures. The text makes this point very clear. Mistakes are literal, tangible proof that you are learning.
So if you aren't falling off the bike, you aren't really learning to ride it.
Precisely. If you aren't making mistakes, you just aren't practicing enough.
Okay, so we've established the mindset shift. But if memorizing grammar books isn't the answer, how do we actually absorb the language correctly?
Well, the conversation in the text shifts here from mindset to the mechanics of active listening. And they highlight this specific technique called shadowing.
Shadowing. Okay, how does that work?
So you don't just passively hear English while folding laundry or something. You take a 1-minute video, you play one sentence, you pause it, and then you repeat it exactly.
Wait, exactly. Like copying the speed and emotion, too.
Exactly. You copy the speed, the emotion, the exact pronunciation. And, the source points out something really reassuring here. You don't need to memorize thousands and thousands of words to do this.
Right. There's that stat about 2,000 words, right?
Yes. 2,000 common words cover most daily conversations. But more importantly, you need to learn complete phrases instead of single words.
Like learning, I'm busy right now, instead of just the word busy.
Exactly.
Okay, wait, I have to push back on the shadowing technique for a second.
Go ahead.
Isn't shadowing just mindless parroting? I mean, how does mimicking a YouTube video's emotion and speed actually help me generate my own thoughts in a real conversation?
It's a really valid question, and it does feel kind of artificial at first, but here's why it's so important. Shadowing trains the physical muscles of your mouth.
Oh, so it's a physical thing.
Very much so.
Yeah.
It trains the physical muscles and the internal rhythm of the language. It bridges the gap between just passively hearing something and actively speaking it.
Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't think about the physical muscle memory aspect.
Yeah, and the brain remembers those complete phrases better than isolated words. It's much easier to recall, I'm busy right now, as one single chunk of information.
Got it. Okay, so once the physical rhythm is being practiced through shadowing, we still have to fix that mental lag that happens when it's time to actually generate our own sentences.
Yes, the infamous mental translator. This is a huge hurdle.
Right, because most learners think in their native language first and then translate it in their head, which just slows everything down.
It creates a massive bottleneck in the conversation.
It really does. It's kind of like a buffering icon on a slow internet video. When you translate in your head, the person you were talking to just sees a buffering icon over your face.
That is a hilariously accurate way to describe it.
So bypassing translation removes the lag entirely. But how do you actually do that?
The source's solution is straightforward but takes practice. You have to start thinking directly in English.
But you can't just suddenly decide to think in a foreign language all day.
No, of course not. You start really small. You just look around a room and think the nouns.
Okay, so like chair, window, door, bottle, phone.
Exactly. You don't translate it, you just link the object directly to the English word. And once you have that down, you build up to simple thoughts.
Like, today is Monday, or I'm feeling happy.
Yes. And you combine this with speaking out loud to yourself for just 5 minutes a day.
Wait, really? Just talking to myself?
Yeah, describing daily tasks like I'm making breakfast or I'm drinking coffee.
I feel like if someone catches me narrating my morning coffee routine, they're going to think I've lost it.
Maybe. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, speaking is a physical skill. And like any skill, it improves purely through the repetition of these daily internal and external narrations. It builds the pathways so that when you talk to a real person, the buffering icon is gone.
Okay, that makes sense. So now that the listener is successfully talking to themselves while making breakfast, how do they face the real world? Like the ultimate fear of judgment from others.
Well, the fear of judgment is really interesting because it's mostly self-inflicted. The text asks a great question. How often do you laugh at someone learning your language?
Literally never. I'm usually just incredibly impressed that they're trying.
Right. Probably never. Most people feel the exact same way when you speak to them in English. And you don't need a fake British or American accent either.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, you just need a clear accent. Clarity is way more important than sounding like a native speaker.
Okay, so how do we ensure we sound clear?
Well, this brings us to the seventh foundation, which is recording yourself for 1 minute, noticing pauses, and comparing day 1 to day 30.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, but also terrifying. Listening to my own recorded voice is literal torture.
It is deeply uncomfortable, I won't lie.
Is this step absolutely necessary, or can I skip it? Please tell me there's workaround.
I'm sorry to say, but no. It's completely non-negotiable.
Ugh, really? Why?
Because it's the only objective way to measure your progress. You can't rely on your memory. The text puts it perfectly. Don't compare yourself with fluent speakers. Compare yourself with yesterday's version of yourself.
Okay, so the recording is basically just game tape, like an athlete reviewing their form.
Exactly. You're just collecting data, and then eventually you step into the arena by speaking with real people through language exchanges or online groups.
Right. Okay, so we have all the tools now. Mindset, shadowing, thinking in English, recording. But tools are useless if they just sit in the toolbox. How does the listener make this stick when life gets busy?
This is where the 10th foundation comes in, which is consistency. Learning English for 3 hours once a week just isn't enough.
It's like going to the gym once a month for 5 hours. It doesn't work.
Exactly. 15 to 30 minutes every day is what actually transforms your skills. And this means discipline beats motivation.
Because motivation comes and goes, right? You might be pumped up today, but tomorrow when you're tired, you won't want to do it.
Right? But habits stay forever. The text suggests making it fun with movies or songs and celebrating small victories.
And there's a specific routine the source recommends, isn't there?
Yes, a strict 30-minute daily routine. 10 minutes of listening, 10 minutes of reading aloud, and 10 minutes of speaking.
So what does this all mean? When you put all of these foundations together, fluency isn't actually about speaking super fast, is it?
Not at all. Fluency is about expressing ideas clearly, taking your time, speaking calmly, and, just smiling.
I really love that reframing. So to recap the core realization for everyone listening today, your accent doesn't define your future. Your confidence does.
That is the ultimate takeaway. And I actually want to leave the listener with a final thought to mull over, kind of building on the source's advice to collect your mistakes.
Oh, I like where this is going.
What if we applied this mistake collection mindset, not just to language learning, but to every new endeavor in our lives?
Wow. Okay, yeah.
Imagine treating failures not as embarrassments to hide, but as literal, valuable data points you are actively trying to collect in order to level up.
That completely removes the shame of being a beginner at something.
Exactly. If you're trying to collect mistakes, you can't be afraid of making them.
That is incredibly powerful. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. To everyone listening, don't wait for the perfect moment. Take that 30-minute challenge starting today, not tomorrow.
Keep collecting those mistakes.
Yes, keep practicing, keep speaking, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.